Welcome back, everyone. You're tuning in to episode 5 of our exciting series on psychology and human behavior. Today, we dive deep into the world of learning and conditioning. From Pavlov's classic experiments with dogs to Skinner's revolutionary work with pigeons and Bandura's groundbreaking studies on observational learning, we've got a lot to unpack. But first, let's set the stage. Have you ever wondered why you salivate at the sight of your favorite food, or why you flinch when you hear a loud noise? These seemingly simple reactions are rooted in complex psychological principles. In this episode, we explore the fascinating world of how we learn and adapt our behaviors through conditioning. Stay with us as we uncover the mysteries of classical conditioning, operant conditioning, and observational learning. We'll explore real-life case studies, hear from experts in the field, and even have a Quanda session where we answer your questions. Trust me, you won't want to miss this. Let's kick things off with classical conditioning, a term coined by Ivan Pavlov, a Russian physiologist whose experiments with dogs forever changed our understanding of learning. In the early 1900s, Pavlov discovered that dogs would start to salivate not just at the sight of food, but also at the sound of a bell if the bell had been rung just before they were fed. This phenomenon, known as classical conditioning, involves learning through association. Simply put, an initially neutral stimulus, the bell, becomes associated with an unconditioned stimulus, the food, leading to a conditioned response, salivation. This discovery laid the groundwork for understanding how reflexive behaviors can be conditioned through repetitive associations. Let's delve deeper into Pavlov's experiments. Pavlov's initial interest wasn't in psychology at all. He was a physiologist studying the digestive systems of dogs. However, he noticed that the dogs would start to salivate when they saw the lab assistant who fed them, even before they saw any food. This observation led him down a path of discovery. Pavlov set up a series of experiments where he would ring a bell just before presenting the dogs with food. After several repetitions, the dogs began to salivate at the sound of the bell alone, even when no food was presented. This demonstrated that the dogs had learned to associate the bell with the arrival of food. To break it down, classical conditioning involves 4 key components. Unconditioned stimulus, US, a stimulus that naturally and automatically triggers a response without any learning needed. In Pavlov's experiment, this was the food. Unconditioned response, UR, the unlearned response that occurs naturally in reaction to the unconditioned stimulus. For Pavlov's dogs, this was salivation. Conditioned stimulus, CS, a previously neutral stimulus that, after becoming associated with the unconditioned stimulus, eventually triggers a conditioned response. In this case, the bell. Conditioned response, CR, the learned response to the previously neutral stimulus. For the dogs, this was salivation in response to the bell. Now, let's look at some real-life examples of classical conditioning. Example 1. Food aversions. Imagine you eat a particular food and then get sick. Even if the food didn't cause the illness, you might develop an aversion to that food. This is a classic case of classical conditioning. The food, neutral stimulus, becomes associated with the illness, unconditioned stimulus, and you develop a dislike for the food, conditioned response. Example 2. Emotional responses. Another example is emotional responses. Suppose you have a positive experience in a particular location, like a park where you had a wonderful family picnic. You might feel happy whenever you visit that park again. Here, the park, neutral stimulus, is associated with the positive experience, unconditioned stimulus, leading to feelings of happiness, conditioned response. Example 3. Phobias. Phobias can also develop through classical conditioning. For instance, if a person is bitten by a dog, they might develop a fear of dogs. The sight of a dog, neutral stimulus, becomes associated with the pain of the bite, unconditioned stimulus, leading to a conditioned response of fear. Example 4. Advertising. Advertisers often use classical conditioning to create positive associations with their products. For example, a commercial might pair a popular song, unconditioned stimulus, with their product, neutral stimulus. Over time, consumers may develop positive feelings, conditioned response, towards the product. Classical conditioning isn't just a laboratory phenomenon. It has practical applications in everyday life. Application 1. Education. In education, Teachers can use classical conditioning to create a positive learning environment. By associating learning activities with positive experiences, such as praise or rewards, students may develop a more positive attitude towards learning. Application 2. Therapy. Therapists use classical conditioning techniques to help clients overcome phobias and anxiety. Systematic desensitization involves gradually exposing clients to the feared object or situation in a controlled way, pairing it with relaxation techniques to reduce the conditioned fear response. Application 3. Animal training. Animal trainers use classical conditioning to teach animals new behaviors. For instance, a trainer might use a clicker, neutral stimulus, paired with a treat, unconditioned stimulus, to teach a dog to sit. Over time, the dog associates the clicker with the treat and responds by sitting, conditioned response. Application 4. Medical treatments. Classical conditioning is also used in medical treatments. For example, patients undergoing chemotherapy might develop nausea, conditioned response. In response to the sight or smell of the treatment room, neutral stimulus, if they previously experienced nausea, unconditioned response, during chemotherapy sessions, unconditioned stimulus. Let's bring in an expert to discuss classical conditioning in more detail. Dr. Susan Thompson, professor of psychology. Pavlov's work has had a lasting impact on psychology. It's fascinating how such simple associations can shape behavior. This understanding helps in various therapeutic settings, such as treating phobias and anxiety disorders through techniques like exposure therapy. Viewer question: can classical conditioning be unlearned? Dr. Susan Thompson: yes, through a process called extinction. If the conditioned stimulus, e.g. the bell, is repeatedly presented without the unconditioned stimulus, e.g. food, the conditioned response, e.g. salivation, will eventually diminish. However, spontaneous recovery can occur, where the conditioned response briefly reappears after a period of no exposure. Next up, we have operant conditioning, a concept popularized by B.F. Skinner. Unlike classical conditioning, which involves automatic responses, operant conditioning is all about voluntary behaviors and their consequences. Skinner's experiments with rats and pigeons in his Skinner box demonstrated how behavior could be shaped by reinforcement and punishment. Positive reinforcement involves rewarding a behavior to increase its frequency, while negative reinforcement involves removing an aversive stimulus to achieve the same effect. Let's take a closer look at Skinner's experiments. B. F. Skinner was a behaviorist who believed that behavior is influenced by its consequences. He designed an apparatus known as the Skinner box to study operant conditioning in animals. In the Skinner box, a rat would press a lever to receive a food pellet. This is an example of positive reinforcement, where the food pellet serves as a reward for pressing the lever, increasing the likelihood that the rat will press the lever again. Skinner also used negative reinforcement in his experiments. In one setup, he placed a rat in a box with an electric grid floor. The rat could turn off the electric shock by pressing a lever. This removal of the aversive stimulus, shock, increased the likelihood that the rat would press the lever again. Operant conditioning involves 4 key concepts. Positive reinforcement, adding a desirable stimulus to increase a behavior. For example, giving a treat to a dog for sitting. Negative reinforcement, removing an aversive stimulus to increase a behavior. For example, turning off a loud noise when a lever is pressed. Positive punishment, adding an aversive stimulus to decrease a behavior. For example, scolding a child for misbehavior. Negative punishment, removing a desirable stimulus to decrease a behavior. For example, taking away a toy when a child misbehaves. Operant conditioning is widely used in various settings. Let's explore some real-life examples. Example 1. Parenting. Parents often use operant conditioning to teach children appropriate behaviors. For instance, a child might receive extra playtime, positive reinforcement, for completing their homework, or lose screen time, negative punishment, for not following rules. Example 2. Workplace employers use operant conditioning to motivate employees. Positive reinforcement might include bonuses or recognition for good performance, while negative reinforcement could involve reducing workload pressure for consistent productivity. Example 3. Animal training. Animal trainers use operant conditioning to teach animals various behaviors. For example, a dog trainer might use treats to reward a dog for sitting or performing tricks. Operant conditioning has numerous applications that extend beyond simple behavioral modification. Application 1. Education. Teachers use operant conditioning to manage classroom behavior. Positive reinforcement, like praise or rewards for good behavior, can encourage students to follow rules and stay engaged in learning activities. Application 2. Workplace training. Employers can design effective training programs using operant conditioning principles. Positive reinforcement, such as bonuses or recognition, can motivate employees to acquire new skills and improve performance. Application 3. Behavior modification. Operant conditioning techniques are used in behavior modification programs to help individuals change undesirable behaviors. Positive reinforcement is often used to encourage new, healthier behaviors. To gain more insights into operant conditioning, let's hear from an expert. Dr. Michael Lerd, psychologist. Skinner's work emphasized the importance of consequences in shaping behavior. Understanding operant conditioning allows us to create environments that promote positive behaviors and reduce negative ones. This is particularly useful in therapy for behavior modification and in educational settings. Viewer question: can operant conditioning be harmful? While operant conditioning can be very effective, it can be misused. Over-reliance on punishment, for example, can lead to fear and anxiety rather than desired behavior change. It's important to use reinforcement strategies that encourage positive behavior without causing harm. Now let's explore observational learning, also known as social learning theory, introduced by Albert Bandura. This type of learning occurs through observing the actions of others and the consequences of those actions. Bandura's famous Bobo doll experiment in the 1960s demonstrated that children could learn aggressive behaviors simply by watching an adult model exhibit those behaviors. This challenged the notion that learning could only occur through direct experience. Let's delve into Bandura's experiments. In the Bobo doll experiment, children watched an adult behave aggressively towards a Bobo doll. When given the chance to play with the doll, the children who had observed the aggressive behavior were more likely to act aggressively themselves. Bandura identified 4 key processes involved in observational learning. Attention. The observer must pay attention to the model's behavior. Retention. The observer must be able to remember the behavior. Reproduction. The observer must have the ability to reproduce the behavior. Motivation. The observer must have the motivation to perform the behavior. Observational learning is a powerful mechanism that influences behavior across various contexts. Let's look at some examples. Example 1. Learning new skills. Children often learn new skills by watching others. For example, a child might learn to tie their shoes by watching a parent or sibling demonstrate the process. Example 2. Media influence. Media plays a significant role in observational learning. People, especially children, can adopt behaviors, language, and attitudes they see in movies, TV shows, and social media. Example 3. Workplace learning. Employees often learn workplace skills and behaviors by observing their colleagues and supervisors. This can include learning how to handle certain tasks, interact with clients, and adhere to company culture. Observational learning has far-reaching implications in education, therapy, and beyond. Application 1. Education. Teachers can use observational learning by modeling desired behaviors and skills. For instance, demonstrating problem-solving techniques can help students learn how to approach and solve problems independently. Application 2. Therapy. Therapists can use observational learning techniques, such as role-playing, to help clients learn and practice new behaviors in a safe environment. Application 3. Media and social campaigns. Media campaigns that promote positive behaviors, such as anti-smoking ads or healthy lifestyle campaigns, often rely on observational learning principles to influence public behavior. Let's hear from an expert about the impact of observational learning. Dr. Emily Carter, social psychologist. Bandura's work highlights the importance of social context in learning. Observational learning helps us understand how behaviors are transmitted within cultures and societies. This is particularly relevant in understanding the influence of media and role models on behavior. Viewer question: how can we use observational learning to promote positive behaviors? Dr. Emily Carter. By providing positive role models and highlighting the benefits of pro-social behaviors, we can encourage individuals, especially young people, to adopt those behaviors. For example, anti-bullying campaigns often use stories and videos to show the positive impact of kindness and empathy. So, why do these learning theories matter? Let's dive into their applications and implications in various fields. Understanding learning and conditioning can revolutionize education by helping teachers develop more effective teaching strategies. In the workplace, it can enhance training programs and employee motivation. In therapy, it provides tools for behavior modification and mental health treatments. Let's start with education. Learning theories can transform how we teach and how students learn. Application 1. Personalized learning teachers can use principles of operant conditioning to tailor learning experiences to individual student needs. Positive reinforcement, such as praise and rewards, can motivate students to engage more deeply with the material. Application 2. Collaborative learning. Observational learning supports collaborative learning environments where students learn from each other. Group activities and peer tutoring can foster a deeper understanding of the material. Dr. Lisa Martinez, educational psychologist, applying these theories in education can lead to more personalized and effective learning experiences. For instance, incorporating positive reinforcement can motivate students, while understanding observational learning can help in creating collaborative and engaging classroom environments. Application 3. Classroom management. Classical conditioning can be used to create a positive classroom atmosphere. By associating learning with positive experiences, teachers can help students develop a positive attitude towards education. In the workplace, learning theories can enhance employee training and development. Application 1. Training programs. Operant conditioning can be used to design effective training programs. Positive reinforcement, such as recognition and rewards, can encourage employees to acquire new skills and improve performance. Application 2. Leadership development. Observational learning is crucial in leadership development. Aspiring leaders can learn by observing experienced leaders, gaining insights into effective management and decision-making strategies. Application 3. Employee motivation. Employers can use operant conditioning to motivate employees by providing incentives for achieving goals and recognizing their efforts, which can lead to increased productivity and job satisfaction. Consider a company that implements a structured training program using operant conditioning. Employees receive immediate feedback and rewards for achieving training milestones, leading to higher engagement and skill acquisition. Learning theories are also integral to therapeutic practices, helping individuals modify behaviors and improve mental health. Application 1. Cognitive behavioral therapy. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, often incorporates operant conditioning techniques to help clients replace negative behaviors with positive ones. Positive reinforcement can encourage clients to practice new coping strategies. Application 2. Exposure therapy. Classical conditioning principles are used in exposure therapy to treat phobias and anxiety disorders. Gradual exposure to the feared object or situation, paired with relaxation techniques, can reduce conditioned fear responses. Application 3. Social skills training. Observational learning is used in social skills training, where clients observe and practice new social behaviors in a supportive environment, often through role-playing exercises. Understanding learning theories provides therapists with effective tools for behavior modification. Techniques like exposure therapy and reinforcement strategies can significantly improve treatment outcomes for various mental health conditions. The implications of learning theories extend beyond specific applications to broader societal impacts. Example 1. Public health campaigns. Public health campaigns often use observational learning to promote healthy behaviors. For example, anti-smoking ads might show role models quitting smoking and enjoying improved health, encouraging viewers to do the same. Example 2. Social change. Learning theories can drive social change by shaping cultural norms and behaviors. Campaigns promoting gender equality or environmental sustainability often rely on principles of observational learning and positive reinforcement. Example 3. Community programs. Community programs that focus on skill building and behavioral change often incorporate operant conditioning and observational learning to help participants adopt new, positive behaviors. To explore these implications further, let's bring in a panel of experts for a roundtable discussion. Learning theories are fundamental to understanding human behavior and facilitating positive change. By applying these principles, we can create environments that support growth, well-being, and societal progress. Education, therapy, workplace training, and public health initiatives all benefit from incorporating learning theories. The challenge is to apply these principles thoughtfully and ethically to achieve the best outcomes. The future of learning and conditioning lies in integrating these theories with new technologies and methodologies. Virtual reality, for example, offers exciting possibilities for immersive learning experiences. Let's talk about the future of learning and conditioning. With advancements in technology, we can expect even more innovative applications of these theories. Future Application 1: Virtual Reality. Virtual reality offers immersive learning experiences that can enhance educational outcomes. By creating realistic simulations, VR can be used to teach complex skills and provide hands-on practice in a controlled environment. Future Application 2: Artificial Intelligence, AI. Artificial intelligence can personalize learning experiences by analyzing data on individual learning patterns and providing tailored feedback and reinforcement. AI-driven platforms can adapt to the needs of each learner, enhancing engagement and effectiveness. Future Application 3: Neuroscience. Advances in neuroscience are providing deeper insights into how learning occurs in the brain. Understanding the neural mechanisms of learning can lead to the development of more effective teaching methods and therapeutic interventions. Integrating technology with learning theories can revolutionize education. Personalized learning experiences, powered by AI, can cater to individual needs and preferences, making learning more engaging and effective. Carter. Virtual reality and other immersive technologies offer exciting possibilities for experiential learning. These tools can simulate real-world scenarios, providing learners with practical experience and enhancing retention. Dr. Michael Richards. Neuroscience is revealing the underlying mechanisms of learning and memory. By understanding these processes, we can develop interventions that target specific brain functions, improving learning outcomes and therapeutic approaches. And there you have it. From the foundational theories of Pavlov, Skinner, and Bandura to their practical applications in everyday life, learning and conditioning shape how we think, behave, and interact with the world. We hope this episode has enlightened and inspired you to explore these concepts further. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more episodes. See you next time.